Hello everyone. So we're still on the topic on the shear and moment diagrams. But today I will teach you what to do if there will be distributed loads on the load diagram. So as I've mentioned in the previous videos, before you could start drawing the shear and the moment diagrams, you need to complete first the load diagram. So the load diagram must be completed first. That means when I say complete the load diagram, that means if there are distributed loadings on the load diagram, you need to convert that distributed loading into a single force. That means you need to replace the distributed loading by a single force, equivalent single force. In this case, we are given with a triangular distributed loading. So this is a triangular loadings that is acting on the beam. So for example, that's the beam and there's a triangular loading that's acting on the beam. So that triangular loading or distribution or triangular distributed loading must be replaced with a single force. So you need to replace this triangle with a single force. The question is, what is the magnitude of that force that should replace the triangle? And where will that force be located? So we have here a triangular loading, for example, and we need to replace those triangular distribution by a single force. So we need to compute the magnitude of that force, and we need to put it somewhere along the beam. Where should we put it? There is also a place where we should put it. And once we have computed the magnitude and the location of that force, single force, then you can proceed drawing the shear diagram and then the moment diagram. So the question now is, since we are given with a triangular distributed loading, how can I change this triangular distributed loading into a single force? So let's analyze it. So this is the magnitude of the intensity of, this is the intensity of the triangular loading. That's the maximum intensity there. W maximum, so that means this value here. Then it decreases as it goes to this end here, which has a zero intensity. And the distance of the distribution, so the distribution is distributed on a length of d, so or the whole length of the beam. So how would you compute the single force? The single force, I just want you to remember the triangular loadings, don't worry, it's so easy to compute the single force of any distributed loading. All you need to do is memorize the formula for areas. If you memorize the formula for areas of common shapes, then you can compute the force for the distributed loading. In this case, it should be the area of a triangle. What is the area of a triangle, by the way? The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. It is 1/2 the base multiplied by the height. So the base in this case is d and the height is w, right? 1/2 base is d, height is w. So once you know that one, if you can compute the area, then you can compute the single load. That means the single load for this triangular loading is actually this. Look at that. The triangular loading can be replaced by a single load, and that single load is equal to this, 1/2 d times w. 1/2 of the distance base d and the height of w, or simply the area of a triangle. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 d times w. And that is the value of the single force now. The question again next is, where will that force be acting on the beam? Which part of the beam should we place that force F? Should we put it here at the end, or should we put it at the other end as well? So where should we put that force? We will place that force again. Remember this. Once you have computed the force based on the area of the triangle, in this case it's triangular distributed load, you need to put that force at the centroid of the triangle. All right? So the force is computed based on the area. The location is based on its centroid. So the force will now be placed where the centroid of the triangle is. And where is the centroid of the triangle? It is somewhere there. So it is placed somewhere there. So this is the centroid of the triangle. It is somewhere there. That's the centroid of the area of a triangle. And how far is it? We need to put a location. You know, we cannot just say it is there. We need to put a location of where it is. It is actually 1/3 of the distance D. So if you have a triangle like that, so the centroid is located somewhere there. So if this is L, it's the total L, so the distance here, this one, so this distance here is L over 3, or 1/3 of L. So this distance is 1/3 of the distance D. So if it is 1/3 of the distance D from the heavier side, the distance from the lighter side, this one would be, if it is 1/3 on one side, the other one must be 2/3 of D. So this must be 2/3 of D. So 2/3 of D from one side and 1/3 of D from the heavier side. That is where the location of the centroid of the triangle is. And that is where you have to put the force F. Right? So we put the force F at the centroid of the triangle, which is 1/3 D from the heavier side, or 2/3 D from the lighter side. So that's it, right? It's easy, right? It's easy to replace a triangular distributed load. You know, to replace the triangular distributed load, what we did was simply compute the area of the triangle. That's the force. And once you have computed the force, where will you place it? You put it at the centroid of the triangle. The centroid of the triangle is 1/3 of the length from the heavier side and 2/3 from the lighter side. And that would be the location of the force. What about if the distribution is not triangular? What about if you are given with a distribution like this? It is a uniform distributed load. That means it is uniform all throughout. As you can see in here, the intensity is just the same as it goes from one side to the other side. W is just the same along the length of D. How would you compute the single force that should replace that distributed uniform load? The same thing. You know, if we computed the triangular distribution with areas, we will also apply areas here. We will compute the area of a rectangle. So, in the uniform distributed load, we simply compute the area of the rectangle. What is the area of the rectangle? The area of the rectangle is base times height. In this case, the base is D, and the height is W. This is W, and this is D. So it's W times D, as you can see in here. So the force is simply the intensity of the distributed load, which is usually given in a problem. It is always given in the problem. And you multiply it with the length where it is distributed. And that is the single force F. Where will I place it? Where will I place the force F? I will place it at the centroid of the rectangle. So where is the centroid of the rectangle? The centroid of the rectangle is at d over 2. It is simple, It is actually easy to compute the centroid of a rectangle, meaning just go to where the center is. And it is at d over 2. D over 2 on one side and d over 2 as well from the other side. So as you can see in here. So F is now located. That means we will replace the distributed load with a single force F located at d over 2 from one side and d over 2 from the other side. All right? It's easy, right? What about if the load gets complicated like this? Usually you are not given with simple distributed load. What about if the load is a trapezoidal loading? Trapezoidal distributed loads. So it's not a triangular loading. It's not a uniformly distributed load. It is a trapezoidal form of a trapezoidal distributed load. That means the intensity on one side, W2, is greater than the intensity on the other side, which is W1. So two different intensities of the trapezoidal loading. How would you replace that distributed trapezoidal load with a single force? The same concept applies. We need to know the area of a trapezoid. If we can solve the area of the trapezoid, that would be the equivalent force that we could put somewhere over there. So let's just first deal with the area of a trapezoid. What is the area of a trapezoid? The area of the trapezoid is actually this one. It is A plus B times D divided by 2. In this case, what you need to do is simply add intensity of the first one, or the first side of the trapezoid. You add it to the intensity of the second side of the trapezoid, and then you multiply it by their distance of separation, D. And then you divide everything by 2. So that is the area of a trapezoid. It's easy to memorize them, right? You have the intensity 1 plus intensity 2 on the other side. Then you multiply it by the distance between them divided by 2. That's the area of the trapezoid. Once you can compute that area, that would be the value of your force F. That's the force F that would replace the trapezoid loading. Now the question, now that we have computed the F, here we have computed the F, my next question is, where would I put that F? Where should I put it? It should be, based from the first and the second explanation we had for the triangle and the distributed loading, this F must be at the centroid of the trapezoid. So where is the centroid of the trapezoid? So if you could identify the centroid, just put the F there. The centroid is located at this distance x. X squared, that distance x. So it is actually equal to, so that distance over x here. So we place it somewhere there, yeah? So we put the load somewhere here. The loads, we put the F load over there, that's the F load. And the distance from this side to this side here would be x. And how would I compute the distance? So it is acting on the centroid of the centroid. It is equal to this. W1 plus 2W2 divided by 3 of W1 plus W2. So if you could memorize this is this formula. This is actually the location of the centroid of a trapezoid. That is its location. W1 plus 2W2 divided by 3W1 plus W2 times D. And that would be the location of the centroid of the trapezoid, which is X from this side. So it will be located at an X value from the smaller intensity W. All right? And that's exactly it. So here is a bit of a summary. This is a bit of a summary from what we have just discussed. If the distributed load is a triangle, you need to compute the area of the triangle to compute the force of the triangular distributed load. And this is the area of the triangle, 1/2 base times height, or D times W in this case. And where would you put it? Where is the location of F? The location is D3 from the larger end or heavier end, D3, or 2/3 from the other side. Right? What about if the shape of the distributed loading is a square uniform or uniformly distributed loading? What is the force? The single force you need to compute is the area of the uniform load, which is area of a rectangle, length times height, or W times D. And where should the force be located? Where would you put the force? It should be half of the length, D over 2. And lastly, what about if the distributed loading is a trapezoid distributed loading? This is the area of a trapezoid, and that is also equivalent to the force that should be computed. And where will you put this force? It should be computed from the centroidal formula of the trapezoid. So just memorize the centroidal formula. It will be from one side, that's the value of the location of the centroid, x squared. All right, but what about if you are given with something like this, by the way? So this would be your load. This is the kind of load you are given to. And there is a trapezoidal distributed load. How would you replace this triangular loading into a single force? It's easy. It doesn't matter if it's rotated or it's not rotated. The same principle applies. You can replace this by a single force using the area of a triangle. What's the area of this triangle in here? The area of the triangle is equal to, the base is 10, the height is 10 as well. See? It's also 10. So the intensity is 10 here, and the length is 10. So base times height, 1/2 base times height. So as you can see in here, that is the area here. See? It is 1/2 base of 10 and the height of 10. So that is the single force that should be replaced, that should replace the triangular loading, 1/2 base times height. That is the P. And where will you put the P? Where will you put it? You will put it at 1/3 of the 10. Or it is somewhere here. Must be somewhere here. Right? So this is actually 1/3. This one is 1/3 of 10. Or the other one on top is, this one is 2/3 of 10. So in this case, it is 1/3 of 10. See? So it really doesn't matter if the triangle is rotated or not. The same principle applies. The force is computed using the area, and the location is computed using the centroid of that shape. All right. What else? That's it. If you have some questions or clarifications, please don't forget to leave a comment, and please give me a follow, and we will have more videos like this in the coming days. Right?